What's up, boys and girls, and welcome back to another Black Desert Online video. Now, as you may have realized, I haven't really uploaded much Black Desert content lately, and also if you do watch my streams, you've probably noticed that I've been streaming other games as well. So, I just wanted to really explain to you guys how I'm feeling about the current state of the game, and the reasons why I've stopped playing the game as much as I used to. Now, I am still playing the game a few hours a day, and I don't have any plans to straight up quit the game yet, but I am definitely feeling less inclined to play the game than I was before. And this boils down really to four major issues that I currently have with the way the game is panning out. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you what my problems are with it and why I think they're a problem for me personally. They may not affect a lot of you guys, and for some of you, you might even enjoy these things, but I personally do not, and I just wanted to let you guys really know what I'm thinking about the game and where it's going. So, my first issue that I have with the game and the current way it is the way they are releasing content. Now, we had a brief roadmap released to us of how we were going to get content and when we were going to get things like ninjas, sieges, and all that kind of stuff, but we don't actually get a solid date. What appears to be happening is they'll say something like, oh, Media Part 2 is coming out very, very, very soon. This was actually a tweet that was sent out from the Black Desert page themselves. And then we got Media Part 2 dropped on us the next day. Now, I like having notice for these things personally. I can't think of any other game really that just randomly drops content on you out of the blue. Normally, you'd at least have a few weeks notice so that you can prepare. If people have jobs, maybe they want to book a day off work so that they can get a little bit of a head start to fully enjoy the content. But with Black Desert, they did it with Media Part 1, they've done it with Media Part 2, and even with auto-looping. They basically just dropped this content on us and just said, here you go, here's the stuff, enjoy. Now, whilst this isn't really a major problem for a lot of people, I don't like it because I feel uncertain in the things that I do in the game. For example, I recently started leveling a Maewa, and I was thinking to myself, I kind of want to upgrade the Leverto weapon that I have for this character, but I need my memory fragments for when boss armor comes out. So, am I going to be shooting myself in the foot if I use my memory fragments now to upgrade my Leverto, and then boss armor comes out tomorrow, and all of a sudden I'm lacking a few hundred memory fragments to upgrade that for my main? And what happened? Boss armor came out. Luckily, I had quite a few memory fragments still stacked up, and I haven't actually had any boss armor yet, so it's not a major problem, but it's just an example that I could think of. Other things like my guild, when we're trying to arrange to do stuff, we do things like GVG events and all this stuff to keep everyone entertained, and all of a sudden, when major content gets dropped, everyone wants to do the new major content instead of the GVG, which is totally understandable, but we've made arrangements with other guilds and everything, and it just feels a little bit lackluster to all of a sudden go in and just say, oh, by the way, guys, we're dropping out because there's all this new content. It doesn't feel fair on everyone, even though I know that's what people want to do. It's just unorganized as hell, and it's a little bit ridiculous in my opinion. So that's my first problem with the game. The second one I've got, which has been a topic of a lot of discussion lately, is world bosses, or field bosses as they're also known. Now, for those of you that don't know what these are, they are basically bosses which spawn every 14 to 22 hours, I think it is, and they drop some really good loot. Now, the way I explain this in a podcast that I did with my brother, which I'm going to be releasing quite shortly, is that, think of it of this way. If you're going to work and you earn £10 an hour, and if you go to another job for an hour, you can earn £300. Now, I'm fairly certain everyone's going to take the £300 job over the £10 an hour job, and you're only going to work 1 hour a day as opposed to 8 hours a day. So my problem with wild bosses is that they give you so much. They can give you, they give you Levertos, tree spirit belts, crystals, hunter seals, gold bars, and then, of course, just raw silver in general. And on top of that now, since they released Media Part 2 with boss armor, you can even get the really rare boss armor off of them, like the tree boss armor, the red nose armor. You can get everything. You can get all of it. And it's just taking away from the hardcore aspect of the game, because now you can obtain all this stuff very easily. I've only really been playing sort of like 2-3 hours the past few weeks, but I've still kept up with the gear curve and everything because of world bosses. I'm getting upwards of 60 hunter seals a day, upwards of 20 black stones off of them a day. On top of that, obviously all the Levertos. I've got 2 tree spirit belts. I've had about 4 Leverto weapons, and it's just, it doesn't feel right that everything's so easy to obtain as long as you have the gear to do the damage on the boss. Now, I do sympathize with people that don't have the gear or have the time to do world bosses every day, because you are essentially getting punished because you have a real life. Now, you could argue that, well, this game is hardcore, so if you don't have the time, then that's your problem, really. But when you get such a huge fast track from simply attending world bosses for an hour every day, it just doesn't really seem very fair on these other people. What is the point of fishing as a profession, or alchemy as a profession, when they can only earn you, let's say, I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass here, let's say 3 million silver an hour, where you could go do a world boss, and off of 5 minutes worth of work, you could potentially earn 30 million plus silver. And if you then do 4 world bosses on different channels as they spawn, you know, in an hour, you could easily earn 60 million. Now, you're not always going to earn that amount, I'm not saying that, but it's very, very possible that you could get that much. And that just doesn't seem fair to me. So I would really like them to see either put a cooldown on world bosses. So, for example, I've killed a world boss, I've had my loot, I got my tree spirit belt, now I cannot get loot off of a boss again for the next 3 days. Something like that, because then it makes me feel like, okay, I've done the world bosses, there's still content in the game, but now there's no point of me attending them, so now I can let other people have a chance to get the loot. Or, the second option is just to straight up remove them from the game, because from what I've seen, there are a few polls going around on the Black Desert forum at the moment, and it seems more people than not don't actually want them in the game at all anymore. Although I feel like it's not fair to completely remove a feature that some people like. Maybe if they just put a cooldown on it, or even lower the spawns to sort of, you know, once every 3 days. Anything like that. Maybe roughly on the same way that Zarka spawns. That would be a lot better for everyone else. And it would stop us having to constantly do these world bosses, because they're pretty bad in terms of PvE mechanics as well. Yes, they do have rotations, and yes, there are skills that are needed to kill them, but you can't ultimately just throw your body at them until they die. And I fail to see how that's really fun for anyone. If you want to do raiding and stuff like that, surely you'd go play a game like World of Warcraft. I don't know. Again, this is just my opinion. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that sieges still aren't implemented in the game. Now, I don't know if I'm going insane here, but I'm pretty sure that when the game was going to be released, they said that sieges were going to come out a month after release. I can't find the post on this, and I'm not sure if I'm going insane, so please correct me if I am wrong. But I went into the game expecting to have my first siege with my guild around a month after the game coming out. So we were all working really hard to get all our gear up and get our levels up and, you know, just make sure that we were prepared for the first sieges. We are now more than 2 months into the game after launch, and there is still no sign of sieges. And on top of that, they said they're going to give us notice of when sieges are coming out so that we can practice and all this stuff and get ready and prepared. So we're not realistically going to see sieges for at least another 2, 3, even 4 weeks yet. And that will then be, you know, 3 months after launch. Now, as far as I'm concerned, in a big guild situation, guild sieges are one of the biggest parts of this game. It's the reason that you gear up. It's the reason that you level up your life skills so you can get things like alchemy stones and food buffs and elixirs. So to hold back that content, and I know they've had to hold it back because they've needed to upgrade the servers, and the new season of Sieges is starting on Korea, so they probably want to localize that and give it to us. It just seems a bit ridiculous that we've had no information on it. They've just basically not talked to us about it, besides the whole, yeah, we're upgrading the servers, you'll get Sieges at some point, and we'll let you know when. I just feel like there's no reason at the moment for big guilds to play together, besides the whole, let's do world bosses, or let's do some random GVG, open world PvP, just for fun. Which, yes, it's a lot of fun, but there's no reward for doing it. It's just a way to waste a couple hours having a laugh with your guildies, fighting other guilds. And I'm not knocking that that is bad, but at the same time, it would be nice to have serious content to fight for. Because as this game goes on and on, guilds are dropping off. On my server already, we've had a few large guilds fall apart because either people got bored of the game or the leadership wasn't up to scratch and people weren't enjoying themselves. So, you know, we're already down now to sort of like, let's say, 8 major guilds on the server, which was at sort of like 16 to 20 when the game first came out. So that then forms a problem when sieges come out. Is there really going to be that much competition? Okay, yeah, fine, another guild might win, but are they going to keep it then every week for the rest of the time, or is it just going to be a fight between like 4 guilds forevermore whilst we're on our server? I'd rather them get sieges out sooner rather than later, as I believe that it would hold on to a lot more players than it would if you were to just drop them, you know, 3 months down the line, when a lot of people have already moved on to another game because it's not what they're wanting to play anymore, because they haven't had the main PvP aspect, which is what was advertised with the game and everything, which was made it look very unique from other games. Again, please don't shoot me for this. This is just my thoughts on the sieges. I really, really want them because I'm looking forward to them so much. I've read so much about them. I've watched loads of videos about it, and they just look like so much fun. And I really don't want people to get burnt out before, in my opinion, the best part of the game comes out. Now, I did get to very briefly try a siege on Korea, to the point where I was there. I wasn't really doing anything because I was potato and level 50 and awful gear, so I pretty much just died. But it just looked amazing. All the buildings, all the turrets, the barricades, massive groups of people fighting each other and trying to push forward. It was amazing. I've never seen anything else like that in an MMO before, so I really hope that this does come out so that people can actually enjoy an amazing aspect of the game. But that's all I wanted to say about sieges. And there is one last thing that I wanted to talk about today, and I've already made a video about it, so I'm not going to talk about this for too long. I just wanted to bring it up. This is the other problem that I'm feeling with the game, and that is hackers that are running around at the moment. Now, they've been running rampant pretty much since launch, and yes, Dami, you have come out and said, you know, if you see any hackers, report it to us, give us proof, and we will ban them, and we will even reward you with things like GM apologies and Aliens tier. Great. That's fantastic. That really is. But at the same time, it's kind of like saying, okay, we know there are hackers that are running rampant, but unless you report them, we can't really do anything about it. So we're just going to let them run rampant until they kill you and ruin your gaming experience for a while. And then if you have proof because you so happen to record it, then we can ban them. It's just kind of like, it doesn't seem like a good way of dealing with it. I really hope, and I'm sure they are, because they're a good company. They have listened to the player base. I just really hope that they are working on improving their anti-cheat engine, because at the moment it doesn't really seem to be stopping people from cheating. From what I've heard, it's somewhat easy to disable, and then you can just run your, you know, your hacker program or whatever the hell you're using, your bot or anything, and then you can just happily get away with that and everything. Black Desert is one of the worst games to have hackers in, because there are real penalties for dying in this game if it's through flagged up PvP. If you die, you lose XP. So can you imagine if you're grinding for something like level 56 or 57 and some hacker comes along and starts killing you over and over again? Yes, you could just stop playing. Yes, you could change channels. But we shouldn't have to do that to deal with people that are cheating in the game. That's not really fair on anyone. It should be, they should make the anti-cheat engine better, and then hopefully be able to ban hackers on coming in, which I know is easier said than done. This is just in an ideal world, obviously. So it just feels to me like there are a lot of problems going on in Black Desert at the moment, and I really just want them to clarify some of these issues. I want to know that they're working on fixing, you know, getting rid of the hackers. I want to know that, yes, sieges are coming out soon. I would love a date for sieges. I would like some notice for when they release content, and also I would really like to hear people's opinions on what they think about field bosses. Maybe I'm being ridiculous, but I have yet to find a person that genuinely goes, yeah, field bosses are really fun. I look forward to doing them every day. I just haven't found a single person that's ever said that. Like, yes, we go there, we like them because we get easy loot. But the only reason we like them is because everyone else does them to get easy loot, so we feel like we have to do them to get the same loot pinata kind of thing going on. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I just kind of wanted to explain why I'm not playing Black Desert as much, because I get people coming into my stream literally every day saying, have you quit Black Desert? And no, I haven't quit Black Desert. I am still playing the game, just somewhat less than I used to. When sieges come out, or maybe if they fix the world boss thing, in my opinion, then yes, I will come back and I will play it a lot more. I still love the game. It's just I don't feel that I can dump 8 hours a day into it anymore, whereas I easily could at launch. So yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, guys. Do you think there are any problems in Black Desert? Do you think I'm being ridiculous? Let me know in the comments below. If you have enjoyed the video, please do drop a like and maybe even subscribe. And until next time, guys, take it easy and peace out.